Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, we've got Olajide Fashikun, who is an aide to Maina. He joins us this morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Well. So we understand that there's been so much being said about this, and we've seen some of your response online. You're talking about £6 million found in UK accounts. Take us through all of this. Well, what exactly is going on? Do you have documents for some of those things you said previously about him being witch hunted or being fought by those who were benefiting from the system?
We have documents, and we have also done very well to also make these documents available to the Nigerian public. And incidentally, most of the documents we're bringing out are not new, because again, I remembered that in July 2014, as a reporter who had followed this crisis from the very beginning, because again, I was privileged to be one of those who broke the story on the pension saga when it was coming up initially. I followed it through, and I had to put everything together in a magazine form, which incidentally I made it available to as many agencies as possible.
When was this magazine published?
July 2014. And everything we're just bringing out now are all contained here. They are not new.
But this money that you said was in UK accounts,
yes.
Was it recent, or it's been there but just recently discovered?
It's been there all the while.
How much had been there? The same £6 million
pounds
had been there. How long ago?
It's been there before the Maina team came on board. And a whole lot of other details that had happened in the pension thing, they are mind-boggling. For instance, even between the point when Maina was forced out and when Pt.1 was brought in, 35 billion got missing in the office of the head of service.
If I could backtrack a little bit.
Yes.
There are those who are of the impression that Mr. Abdulrasheed Maina is, he got his hands soiled because he was brought in to investigate what was going on, and he got caught up in the whole system, the sleaze that was going on, and that's why he fled and then becomes a fugitive.
Now,
is that the case?
It's not the case. That's not true at all. In the first instance, Maina was one officer who was in the Ministry of Interior, who was able to organize the pension sector in the Ministry of Interior, and it worked well. Before
they brought him to investigate, or recently?
That was even the story of how he got into the pension reform task team. One of the mornings, the head of service then, Stephen Oronson, he got to work, and he was told 4 pensioners had died in the premises. It was while he went there that the man had to burst into tears, and out of desperation was like, who do I get who can help me? And Maina's name came up. He brought Maina in, brought in a whole lot of other paramilitary persons on board, and they started work. That was in 2010. Now, when they started work, a whole lot of monies were being gotten. They would go as a team to go and mop up money from wherever it is alleged to have been.
The team led by Maina?
By Maina. They will go mop up cash, and after they mop up the cash, they move it to a bank, to an account in the central bank. And the account in the central bank is managed by the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General of the Federation. They are the 2 signatories to that account.
What's the name of the account?
It's in the central bank. And as at the time when Maina was forced out, there were 282 billion naira cash in that account.
Which account is that?
It's in the CBN. It was a pension recovery account.
Now, you've also talked about pensions monies to do with the police.
Yes.
How did that come into this whole mix?
There were 2 offices that Maina's team was supposed to work on out of the 99 pension offices in the country: the head of service and the police pension office. So in between these 2 offices, that was where they discovered that 5.32 billion naira is being stolen on a monthly basis by civil servants.
Huh?
Yes.
5.32
billion naira on a monthly basis.
And that went on for how long?
Now, when Maina's team started the reform in the pension office, they discovered that what was needed to pay police pension on a monthly basis was 826 billion naira. Whereas in the appropriation, they are being appropriated for 5.3 billion naira. So which means that...
Was it actually paid?
5.3 billion is always released. for police pension. But all they needed after the biometric verification was 826 million. So which means that 4.2 billion naira was available to be stolen on a yearly basis. So there were records to also show too that on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, so long as the bank is working, a whole lot of persons were recruited to go and mop up cash from those accounts, which sums up to an average of about 300 million naira on a daily basis.
So Maina stopped it. Maina was able to stop that.
Maina's committee stopped all this.
So where then does the unfolding scenario comes when he's been said to have stolen 2 billion?
Good. 43 persons are on record to have been held for pension suspects for having stolen pension monies. The 43 persons were handed over to the EFCC to prosecute. Sadly, and I will still say sadly, the prosecution has not been concluded as at this moment. They are still standing prosecution for almost 7 years. Now, between these 43 persons, 222 houses were seized and were also handed over to the EFCC.
From who?
From the pension, for the 3 pension suspects.
222 houses
222
seized
houses
from 43
from 43 pension suspects
and handed over to the EFCC.
To the EFCC. The saddest part of it is some of those houses, as we speak now, are already being occupied by persons.
Oh. By persons other than the people that were...
The houses were seized from the persons who allegedly had pilfered pension funds.
Were the houses going back to the people who the houses were seized from initially?
For one of the houses we even checked just this week, we discovered that a very senior lawyer in this country is even occupying one of those houses. So how did he get the house? Because the house is supposed to be one of the things you're supposed to use in prosecuting the persons where the houses were seized from.
Okay, so now you paint a picture of Maina and his team recovering this amount of monies. Okay, we'll take a moment. When we'll come back, we'll put that question across.